I'm now honoured to invite the Honourable Minister for Transport in New South Wales, Jo Haylan, to the stage to deliver her keynote address. Minister Haylan's presence today is fitting tribute to the long-standing relationship between the PWI and the New South Wales Government, symbolising an unbreakable bond we share in the very fabric of the rail industry. Jo is proud to be leading the delivery of Australia's largest public transport pipeline, supporting the New South Wales economy, housing and jobs. Jo has established vital reviews across the key modes, rail, bus and Sydney Metro, working to restore resilience and reliability to the transport network while focusing on local jobs and manufacturing. Jo is committed to equitable transport for all, passionately dedicated to building an accessible, inclusive, safe and integrated transport system in New South Wales. She has delivered groundbreaking policies to power New South Wales to a cleaner future, including progressive zero-emission targets with Transport for New South Wales net zero and climate change policy and sustainable infrastructure program. A proven and accomplished leader, Jo has extensive experience and dedicated services across both local, state and federal governments. As only the second Minister in Transport for New South Wales history, she hopes to inspire future generations of women. Jo is the Labor member for Summerhill, a vibrant, diverse community she takes great pride in representing. Can you please join with me in welcoming Minister Haylan to the stage for the keynote address?
Thank you very much, Mark, and it's a real pleasure to be here this morning. I do want to also acknowledge that we meet on the land of the Gadigal people, and I pay my respect to elders past and present and to any Indigenous people with us this morning. I'm incredibly grateful to be with you to mark what is an auspicious occasion, the 50th anniversary of the Permanent Way Institution Convention. And I wish you all the very best for your gathering, for your conversations and for your celebration. I'm also very proud to pass on the warm congratulations and thanks of the Premier, the Honourable Chris Minns, and of course on behalf of the entire New South Wales Government, which I know you continue to have a very strong connection and relationship with, and we benefit from that greatly. I also, of course, want to acknowledge all those here from the rail industry, transport workers and community leaders. And I also want to, of course, congratulate Mark and the executive for your ongoing history and commitment, but also for your engagement over the next couple of days. Friends, what binds us together is a shared love for and a respect of railways, and a shared purpose to see rail carry us into the future. For 50 years, the Permanent Way Institution has been a mainstay for the industry and a way to share knowledge and expertise, to mentor and foster workers in the industry, and to make powerful cases to government for investment in rail. And as you know, the Permanent Way Institution was founded in the UK in 1884. It was a time of great expansion of the British railways, and despite the boom, there was little formal coordination between inspectors or engineers about the best practices to plan and build them. The Permanent Way Institution was formed to bring like minds together, to create formal channels of collaboration and communication, and to chart a course for railways into the future. That tradition found a local voice here in New South Wales with the establishment of the Permanent Way Institution in 1974. The first meeting of the Permanent Way in our state was held on the 21st of February, and the first convention held on the 25th of October 1974. And the institution has grown and gone from strength to strength ever since. I want to pay tribute to the founders whose foresight gave us the Permanent Way Institution here in our state. And I understand John Brew is here, one of the founders attending the conference. Those founders represent everything that we love about the railway. They brought to the project of forming the Permanent Way a strong foundation of technical expertise and knowledge, a deep understanding of the transformational role that rail plays in building our communities, and a bright optimism about the future of rail. Now, I don't pretend to share all of those expertise, particularly the first one. I'll leave that to many of you in the room, but I definitely share the others. I bring to this job an absolute respect for rail as an agent for change, shaping our cities, and a firm belief that railways will shape our future. As a government, we have had the unique privilege of opening a new railway in the form of the city section of Sydney Metro. And later this year, we'll open Parramatta Light Rail. And we're working to transform and modernise our heavy rail network as well, future-proofing it for future generations of passengers. Now, my very first action as Minister was to commission an independent review of Sydney Trains, headed by Carolyn Walsh. And I wanted to send a very strong signal that our government was committed to improving heavy rail services that we see as a fundamental responsibility of government and our public transport agenda. Now, the Walsh Review was tasked with finding rapid but long-term durable solutions to restore the reliability of our rail network. One of the key findings was that there was a major backlog in maintenance across our network. And in response, we undertook the largest coordinated program of rail maintenance ever undertaken in our state. The rail repair plan was launched and the target was to remove 1,916 high priority defects and bring that maintenance backlog under control. And thanks to the incredible work and commitment of thousands of rail workers and the leadership of Sydney Trains, we met that goal 3 months early. And we then set ourselves a new stretch target of 2,116 high priority defects, and we removed those by July 2024. As a result, we have seen fewer delays and cancellations as a result of failures and faults across our rail network. And passengers are the winners in that work. We have completed 12 of the recommendations from the Walsh Review, and we're working to implement the others, which the government has accepted. These recommendations are helping us to chart a course forward to modernise our railways, including strengthening support for staff, better incorporating technology to make it a modern railway, to make it more efficient and safe. Similarly, in the early life of our government, we commissioned a review into the metro projects. Now, these are huge investments by our state, and they represent a transformational opportunity for our city, and we want to make sure we get that huge investment right. We want to make sure we get that program right. But the opening of the city section demonstrates just how important this railway is for our future. A game-changing 2,645 new services are now travelling under the heart of our city, under our harbour, each and every week, moving 17,000 people each way per hour in the AM peak. And a breathtaking 10 million plus trips have already taken place on the M1 metro line since it opened. Following the success of the new section, the government is forging ahead with our conversion of the Sydenham to Bankstown line to a metro service to take that line all the way from our northwest through our North Shore, under our harbour, and then through the inner west to the southwest, a 30-kilometre new railway for our city. It was, of course, bittersweet to close the former T3 line, a line which I live on, but I know that it meant a lot to the community and the rail industry. We have, of course, for that community implemented a comprehensive temporary transport plan. Many pink buses travel those roads now and move what were 60,000 rail trips a day via other modes of transport. It's going to take us some time, and it is a difficult period when we are delivering new infrastructure, as you will know. But at the end of the conversion, those passengers through Bankstown will have a rapid, modern railway with a service in the peak every 4 minutes. Our government's reform agenda also extends to freight. We established an independent freight policy reform panel led by Dr. Kerry Schott. Now, the interim directions report was released last month, and the panel has made wide-ranging recommendations to support the logistics chain here in New South Wales. The aim of the reform program has been to consider all parts of a coordinated supply chain to determine the right policy framework for safety, for productivity and for sustainability. We need to look at end-to-end freight transport as a whole, not as individual modes. Previous governments have decided to look at ports, rail, or road, but this is a system, and we need to make sure that they're all connected and working together, that we're making the right investment decisions into the future. The panel's recommendations will shape a reform agenda to address feedback from the industry on skill shortages, rail access, and integration across our freight system into the future. I hope that gives you a sense of what the government is doing, what we're committed to, and understanding where we are heading when it comes to rail in New South Wales. Just like the Permanent Way Institution, we are firmly focused on the future of rail. As I mentioned, we will open the first stage of Parramatta Light Rail later this year. This project is in its final stages of testing and will commence first passenger service once we have our accreditation from the Office of the National Rail Safety Regulator. In our most recent state budget, we committed a landmark $2 billion to commence construction on the second stage of Parramatta Light Rail. This project will transform the way people move around our second city, Parramatta, and of course the broader Western Sydney into the future. We are also very close to seeing our Marion fleet on the tracks. Similarly, final testing is underway, and we anticipate that intercity commuters will be able to access these trains commencing from the Hunter, the Newcastle service, by the end of the year. The southwest segment of Bankstown, of the metro through Bankstown, is set to open in 2025, and our Western Sydney Airport Metro the year after that. So we are continuing to expand the benefits of Metro to the west, with the construction well underway of Sydney Metro West, which will of course connect Parramatta and the CBD, making it an easy 20-minute journey, transforming the way we move east to west, just like city section of Metro has transformed our journey north to south. So we're leveraging that exciting project to deliver additional housing for our city too, because we need to make sure we're building our cities around our public transport assets to make sure that people are able to choose public transport over the private vehicle. And we all win from that. And we're going to continue to deliver a pipeline of works into the future to keep that momentum going. In fact, we're committed and developing right now business cases for future rail connections in our northwest, one to connect St Mary's to Tallawong, and of course the other in the southwest, the long talked about southwest rail connection beyond Bradfield through to Macarthur. These business cases will of course be mode agnostic, keeping all of our options on the table for how we deliver those critical rail connections. And of course we want to work together to develop further options for public transport across the city and our state through our medium and long-term planning processes. At the heart of that work, of course, is an understanding that the future of public transport is multimodal and it's interconnected. Rail, whether it's heavy rail, metro, light rail or freight, all have an absolutely central role in moving people and moving goods for generations to come. Before I conclude, I want to talk a little bit about a big priority of our government, and that is a commitment to investing in people and our local know-how as to how we work to rekindle our domestic rail manufacturing industry. Domestic manufacturing is a key priority of the New South Wales Government because we know that we do best when we invest in our people and build the skills that underpin local jobs across New South Wales. Now, we've made 3 essential commitments here. The first is to implement a target of 50% minimum local content for future rolling stock contracts. Secondly, give local companies a 30% weighting when tendering for those contracts, and commencing procurement to replace our much-loved Tangara fleet within this term of government. So that's by March 2027. Now, this is not a quick fix. This is a methodical approach. I don't want to necessarily dwell on the past. I have, however, spoken at length about how the former government's approach did buy rolling stock from overseas, and that has left us with significant issues. But it wasn't just that that approach was costly, it was about an approach that shortchanged local workers who could have benefited from those skills and opportunities, and also the passengers that would then benefit from that economic activity and a product that was fit for purpose, which of course brings me to our future fleet program. So instead of bypassing local, we will be buying local wherever possible. It's our overt preference. Determining what is reasonable will of course be more complex than comparing off-the-shelf rolling stock prices. Our calculations will take into account the basic price information, the life cycle of that product, support and maintenance cost, and of course the intrinsic value added to allied industries and communities through the provision of plants, of depots, and the skilled jobs that these facilities sustain. The Future Fleet program is currently the subject of business case development, and we anticipate a final investment decision in 2026 with commercial arrangements to follow. The scale of our Future Fleet program is huge. Subject to investment decision, we're talking here about 1,500 cars that will be bought and will be progressively come online over the next 30 years. This is the first new rolling stock. The first new rolling stock will be on our tracks in 2030s. The Future Fleet program will assess, as a starting principle, the optimal asset life cycle option, then determine the sequencing of investment to drive the best value for money. The program should settle on a rolling stock type and progressively improve the model as we progress. And much in the same way, of course, that the motor vehicle evolves over time, the New South Wales Government will own the design of these new fleet and be able to harmonise our fleet as a result. Of course, as you all know, then resulting in greater efficiencies and opportunities that presents. We are working very closely with industry, and I'm sure many of you have been involved in that process so far. Our aim is to buy smart and reliable products so that our new stock will be efficient and also in line with our net zero commitments. Ageing fleet, such as our Tangaras, whose service has now been extended through a $450 million investment, will of course be retired as the new fleet come online, and other car types will follow. This is an exciting state-changing program aimed at driving investment in jobs, particularly skilled jobs. And our Future Fleet program is a powerful way of reimagining and reinvesting in our rail future here in New South Wales. It's a powerful demonstration of our commitment to you and to our shared project. Those of you here today care about rail and understand its transformative role, the way it shapes our future. We have a shared purpose to continue to build and bolster the permanent way. For the New South Wales Government, that involves continuing to respect and support our transport workers. That involves continuing to plan and to build railways that connect people and goods into the future. That involves continuing to support important organisations like yours, the Permanent Way Institute. I know that in 50 years, a future Transport Minister will be addressing your 100th conference, and my ambition is that they talk about the way we were working together now to transform and prioritise and transform our modern railways. Our government is a government firmly in the mode of hope and optimism, boldly focused on a future that means that people are better connected to one another through railways that are here now and those that we will continue to build. I am very honoured to be with you this morning. I congratulate you on your 50 years and know that there will be many more to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know you're busy. Take care. Thanks, Minister, for that keynote presentation this morning on our, momentous occasion of our 50th anniversary. It was really good to hear Joe give us some comments about, the work that they're doing with Sydney Trains, particularly also looking at the this freight review, I think, which is really important for New South Wales and particularly Sydney. That will give a lot, certainly take away a lot of the impact that freight has on the metropolitan system. Also interesting to hear about future projects. A number of the people in this room would obviously be concerned about where the pipeline is coming forward, so the fact that you're actually looking at a number of new projects would keep a lot of the members here quite happy, and particularly the new trains. Certainly new trains and building with the competence and the capability that we've got in this state makes a big difference. So thank you. What I'd like to do is also thank now formally our keynote speaker, Minister Haylan, for her presentation. Unfortunately, the Minister does have to go back into town today, so if you'd all like to join with me in thanking her for her presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Minister.